Hi and welcome to this colour pencil tutorial. As you can see, this is a picture of a black puppy, and what it is this month's art subscription box tutorial. So just see that. And whilst the whole tutorial is only going to be made available to our paid members, what I wanted to do is, because it's a black dog, what I wanted to do was to show you how to pick colours for a black dog. Because basically, if we just chose black, it's just going to be a really flat surface. So we want it to make it stand out. Obviously the picture that's showing on the camera at the moment is slightly different to what's in front of me, because it's a camera filming a screen and it's not usually accurate. But what I'll do is I'll go through and I'll show you how to sort of go about choosing the right colours, and then also to create a colour swatch afterwards, so you can keep referring to that. And you can transfer those skills over to any colour pencil drawing that you're doing. Okay, so we're going to start off first. If I zoom in, because the eyes, I always do the eyes first. And what I tend to do is, so on the back, I have a sheet of paper with the list, with the brand and the list of colours that I'm going to use. But on the back, I do a few sort of scribbles like that, just so try and match up the closest to what I have with the subject matter. So with the eyes, I'm going with the Polychromos brown ochre. And so basically, if you just do a little bit of a scribble on there, it basically matches the lighter parts, but you can also make it a bit, because there's a mixture of colour in there as well. So we have the luminance warmer 5%. You go in next to it, you've got like the lighter colours there, so you can add that over the top so you can blend it. Now around the outside you've got a darker brown, so there are quite a few dark browns available. So for instance, I wanted to choose between, you've got the walnut brown, but then you've also got the brown umber. And if you go with this is the walnut brown, so it's quite a nice deep rich brown. But then the brown umber, it's dark, but it's more of a chocolatey colour. So I would personally go with the walnut brown, because around here you've got that darkness around there, and it sort of blends in around there as well. And it'll also go with the darkness around there, and then it's sort of, you've got a kind of like a bleed of colour into the white of the eye, but then it goes sort of darker. And so then what I would do over that is I would add the Polychromos black into that, which is what you get there. So if you put them together side by side, they kind of like blend nicely together. So if you were to do that, kind of like blend nicely together on top. So that's the, so that, oh, and that. And then you've also got, if you look at the other colour and the white of the eye, it's got kind of a pinky feel to it. So the Pablo Granite Rose is a nice one for that. Now I've got a few different brands of colour pencils. So I've got Luminance, Pablo's, Derwent Drawing, Derwent Artist, Derwent Lightfast, Polychromos and Prismacolor. So I will show you, I mean most people, you know, the first sort of professional colour pencils people tend to go for are Polychromos, and I use Polychromos as a standard in all of my drawings. But I don't have all of the Prismacolors, but I'll see what we can find with the Prismacolors, just in case, you know, some of you have those as well. But so yeah, if you look there, you've got like the Granite Rose, if you can see that. But you've also got like, looks like a bit of like darker grey on it. So I would use, so I've got a couple of dark greys. So I've got the Cold Grey 6 or the Warm Grey 6. So that's the Cold Grey 6. And that's the Warm Grey 6. So the Warm Grey 6 is quite deeper and richer in colour. Now I think I would probably go with the Cold Grey 6 because we don't want it too dark in there. We just like the wispy parts of the colours there. So that's what I would go with, that one. And round there you've got like the pink again and the brown. And then with the dark part there, actually no, if we go with this part here, what I would just want to test out is the dark indigo. So we can see we can go in with the dark indigo in the centre part there, and then around it we can go in with the black again, and they complement each other really well and they blend nicely together. Now up here we have, it's quite dark, so I would up here would do a layer of the Polychromos black, and over the top I would do the Derwent Drawing Ivory Black. Now some of you who've been with me for a little while will already have this in there. Now was it the first, was it the first or the second one box? And so this is, it's got a very thick soft core. You can buy, like any of these, you can buy them individually, and it's really good to have this colour in with that black, because on its own it's a lovely deep rich black. Okay, now I do have a Pablo's black. Let's see if I can get that, won't be a moment. Oh yeah. Okay, so you have the Pablo Ivory Black. This is the Derwent Ivory Black. Oh, there. Okay, so Derwent Ivory Black. So it's darker than the Polychromos. It's probably near on par with the, with the Derwent drawing. So if you didn't have one of these but you had Pablo's, then this would be alright. But I've done 2 layers and that is a lot darker than that. So if you have one of these, then I would do a layer of the polychromos black, and then I would do a layer of that on top. If you've got a Pablo black, then do that on top. If you've only got polychromos, do the dark indigo first, and then do the, I do have a bigger pencil than this, but do the Pablo black. Okay, so that's that. And then we zoom out a bit. Now we can all see that's a black dog, but some areas are darker than others. So for instance, around there I would do the polychromos black, and then I'd probably do the Pablo on top, and then in the deeper shadows, so like round here for instance, then I would do the Derwent drawing black. Now it's quite a light black around here. It's not what you're seeing on the screen, it's not as light as that. I'll see if I can upload a picture in the comments for the on the from the video. But so what I would do here is not knock the camera. I would go here. Let's have a look. Just zoom in on that part. So I probably would go in with let's have a look at this warm grey 6. So I would go in with the warm grey 6 for the polychromos. And then it's darkish around there, so around there you could add a layer of black, but because it's quite light in places, I would use possibly a warm grey 3. Obviously we won't be pressing too heavily on this, just bear with me. That's the warm grey I was going to use. This is the difference. What I'm colouring on at the moment is white card. I'm going to be using drafting film, but you can sort of make out that it's slightly lighter. Now if we try that with, this is the good thing before you try any drawing, is testing to see what your colours work, what colours work best and how they're going to work with each other. Right, so that was that was the cold grey 3 I just chosen. Sorry, this is the warm grey 3. No. And then what you can also do is the paper that you're going to be working on, see if you can get like a test swatch of that and see how it's going to work. But I don't know if you can see, but it is lightening up, but you have to go quite light on it. So what you would do is you would go, because you have to go light anyway when you're using colouring pencil, so that you can add layers, and with the drafting film you do have to go a lot lighter. And with drafting film you can see the lighter ones hit on there. unfortunately it doesn't show as well on the card, but it's more on this card, it's actually burnishing it slightly, which is smoothing it out, but it is going lighter. So I would tend to go with because it's not totally black, I would probably go in with a grey and then put deeper parts of black going in there. Okay, so this part I would start with the polychromos black and then go in with the Pablo ivory black, see what the coverage is like on it, and then add in possibly a bit of the drawing black. Now around the eyes and around here, because the light is obviously coming down that part this way, so you're going to have it lighter, so the side bits are going to be darker. I would go and use the greys on that. So we have the cold grey 6, which is also the pencils would be a lot sharper as well. Oh. Yeah, so you've got like the cold grey 6, which is dark, but it's not as dark as the warm grey. The warm grey is richer. So you have that. See on the screen, that kind of looks like it's got purple in it, but it hasn't. If you saw the real photo, then you would see that it's black. Let me just see if I can find a reference photo. Right. There you go. That's the actual proper colour. So perhaps if I move that out the way, so although I can't zoom in, you can actually see the proper colour of it. So if you look around there, you can see the lighter grey. So when on drafting film, you'd be able to put the black, say like the polychromos black on there. Then what you'd be able to do with a sharp pencil, you'd be able to put the warm grey 3 on top and just follow the direction that the fur is going in. So that's how I chose that, because it's not white or anything like that. The warm grey 3 would add the highlights the desired highlights, and also you can use a slice tool, if I can, and that would, on the surface, if you've not come across this before, it will take away the some of the surface of the pigment, and then you can just go in between it and it'll add with the darker bit, and then you can add, it looks like you're adding more texture to it. So you've got like the lighter greys around here, but you also got like you'd be using the polychromos black or whatever colour brand of black that you have. If you don't have these, so I mean, you could use the Prismacolor black. So all of the blacks are very similar, apart from obviously the Pablo, the Derwent drawing, and it depends on the softness and the thickness of the barrel of the pencil. So if you don't have that, but you do have something like the dark indigo, then just use that as a base colour and then do your black on top, and that it can make it more richer. If you don't have a dark indigo, I mean that is a deep blue. Try and get as deep blue as you can, and then obviously not thick layers, but then just do the black on top. So around the nose, so I would probably use the black polychromos for that. You've got a bit of white going on there, and I might probably with that use a cold grey 1, so that's quite light, because it looks a bit greyish on there. And then what I would do, because you can see, I don't know if you can see, like it looks like a little round, you know, the texture of the dog's nose, it's kind of like got a slightly rough texture to it. So a way round of doing that is I've chosen a Caran d'Ache white museum aquarelle pencil. So you can use these dry and you can use these wet. Now for this part, what I would do is slightly dampen the end, so you can just like lick your finger, and then so the end's a bit wet, and then what you would do is you can just dab around there till you've got like, it looks like a shine on it, and then you can sort of highlight a bit there and there as well. So that's what I would use for a shine. Then we have these different areas of lightness here. So I would probably use, the warm grey 3. So put in the black. You could either use the slice tool for the subtraction technique, or if you use your Tombow eraser. So if you haven't seen one before, you can get these as refills. They come with these in. That's an eraser, and you can basically go in there and go into the direction of the fur, so it takes out the dark fur underneath, and you can add, the lighter highlights of the fur, and in the white. And then if you have one of the greys, then you can go over that just to give it a bit of grey colour. Again, you've got like the darker areas, so the lighter areas are black. Use your standard black pencil, and then you can go over it again to make it darker with, say, your Pablo or your Derwent drawing. Now it's quite a light area of black around the edge there. Then I would probably use the warm grey 6, and then you've got the white around here, so that's all white. And then you've got, I would go for probably the warm grey 3 on that again. Down here it's a bit of like a creamy kind of beigey colour going on. So what did I go for that one? Not that one. Probably the Luminance Brown Ochre 10%. So it's quite light, but if you don't have that, it's kind of like a beigey pinky colour. So you might want to do like a colour swatch and see what you can do to make it lighter, your colour lighter. So if like you had brown, use your lightest brown and either mix it with a white or a cream, and see what you get from that. But you want to like a paler colour with that as well. And the side there, you've got a very light browny colour as well, and also in the ears. So you don't want, and there as well, so you don't want a block of colour going on. As you can, if you can see, it's mixed in with well, it's mixed in with the black, so there is black in there, but I would probably go in with one of the might go in with the actual cold grey 6 for that, and then just spread in the black pencils in there, and you've got the really dark part there, and you've got the really dark part going through there as well. And then of course around here it's quite dark, there's quite dark, and then with the bits of light fur around the muzzle, you could probably use a slice tool on that. So just do a light layer of polychromos black, and then use your slice tool or your Tombow eraser, and then what you would do is you would, in the direction, just do slight marks so that you can see it coming through. And then what you might want to do is get a fine point to your black, and then just go in between just to accentuate the lighter colour around here and around here. So once I've done the test colours like I've done on the back there, what I find it's easier to do then is do like a colour swatch. So it's my puppy tutorial, I've got my brand, and then so what I do, I set them all out in their different brands. Each pencil has its colour and its number on it. I show you on a bigger one. So for instance, this is the Polychromos Dark Indigo, and it's got 157 on it, so that's its number. So I put the Dark Indigo 157, and I do a swatch of its colour there, so I can see, without having to keep scribbling on a scrap piece of paper whilst I'm trying to work, I can see that's what it's going to look like. This is what the black's going to look like. And so on. And then I do the same with the Pablos. So for instance, I'm only going to be using 2 types of Pablo. One's the Granite Rose, which I think I've put in one of the earlier boxes, so hopefully you should have that. If you don't have Pablos and you won't have the Granite Rose, then use the light pink that you've got in your pencil set. And the other one is the Cocoa. So this is kind of like looks like a browny grey colour. So if you can do a mix on a colour swatch on a scrap piece of paper until you get the colours that you want, then once you've got that balance down, write down the 2 colours that you've used to reach that actual colour. So there's that. And then we have the Luminance, which are these lovely soft pencils. So this is the Burnt Ochre 10%. So ochre is usually like a browny colour, but it's only 10% of the pigment, which is why it's lighter and it looks quite pinky. Okay, and then you have the Warm Earth 5%. So it's kind of like in the brown section again. So it's quite light. Okay, and then we have the Derwent Drawing. So you can see how thick that is compared to the Pablo and the Polychromos. So it's a lovely thick creamy texture, that is. So, and it's perfect for for the deep black areas that you need. And so I've got that in there. And Museum Aquarelle, that's been in one of my boxes, and if you've not seen one before, that's what it looks like. And you can buy them individually as well off of all of the artist websites like Jackson's Art, Cass Art, Art Discount UK, and you can also get it off of the Colour Pencil shop as well. Colour Pencil shop's brilliant. The lady that runs that, she's got really huge selection of pencils and they're at a really good price. I always get my pencils from her, really good quality, good deals as well. So that's that. So yeah, so basically when you are looking at your new reference photo, have a really good look about what the colours you can see. It's not what your brain thinks it can see, but really, it's going to sound silly, but really look with your eyes and think, have a good look with your eyes and really see what you're looking at. So even if you just zoom in, or use a magnifying glass or whatever, and you can just see, yes, this is a black dog, but it's darker in some places than it is others. So we kind of like need to think about the palette of like how do we get from light to dark in the in the black, in the shades of black and grey. So if you think about it, you can go from light grey and then it suddenly starts getting darker and darker until you reach black. So I know some colour pencils do have quite a few shades of grey. I know Pablo's have quite a few shades. Polychromos do. Luminance do. Let's have a look for the Prismacolor. I don't know if I've got those yet. I've not got a full set of Prismas. Oh, actually, yeah, Prismacolors have got quite a bit of a large range of greys as well. So, and Prismas are reasonably priced. There's a person, I think his name's Brian, and he does, I think his website is Colour Pencil Online, and it's all Prismacolor pencils that he sells individually, and he's really good and provides a quick turnaround as well. So yep, so I hope this was a good tutorial for you to show how we pick out the dark colours on dark animals like that. So showing you that it's not all one colour, and surprisingly there's things like indigo and like other colours and that in there as well. And any questions you can ask on my YouTube channel, and I will answer it. If you want to see more of these videos, don't forget to click on subscribe, and you'll get an update as soon as I film future tutorials. I'll be doing some others, so each time I draw an animal, what I'll do each time is I will do a how to choose the colours for that particular animal. But thank you very much for watching. As I say, any questions, please type them in the comments and I'll reply to you. But thanks very much for watching.